Round number 4 of the 2023 Grand National Cross Country Racing Series is in the books, and we found out one thing for sure: Bryson Neal is human. He had a mechanical. The man that was there to capitalize, Hunter Hart. Can Neal rebound? Can Hart keep it going? It all starts now on MAV TV.
Are you ready to go GNCC Racing?
Good afternoon and welcome to the Camp Coker Bullet, round number 5 of the 2023 Grand National Cross Country Racing Series, presented by Specialized and AMA National Championship. Again, Society Hill, South Carolina, home of the Camp Coker Bullet. Incredible facility, by the way. If you've never been here, we'll talk about more in a moment. First, the Specialized race recap. Round number 4, it was the Cobra. Jared McClure with a great start, grabs the whole shot, had the early lead, and boys, a race war on, though. These guys were going toe-to-toe. Saw some great racing out of Hunter Hart, obviously, who inevitably ended up taking the win. Right place, right time, because right here, a little drama for the Bidwell Bullet of Bryson Neal. Had to take that Phoenix Racing Yamaha back into the pits and start wrenching away. Now, Neal was able to go from about mid-20s in the overall up to a 10th place finish and still score some points. So it was still a salvage day, if nothing else, for Bryson Neal as far as the points are concerned. But the big winner, again, Hunter Hart. Him and Cole Richardson, they've gone back and forth all season long. It's been fun to watch these two right there getting into a little bit of the moose tape. And Cole Richardson had to check up, and they found a tree to put in between them to break it. Can't imagine that felt too good. But again, it was Hunter Hart, rider out of New York. He says he's out of New York. I know that might be the home address, but let's call it what it is. The man's a Florida rider. He was excelling in Camp Coker, to say the least. And there you go. Look at that podium. Coltrane with a second place, John Glotta Jr. with a third, and Hart with a first place finish. And we caught up with Hart after the race.
Yeah, like I said in my previous interview, I need to find 15 seconds, and we've been working hard these last couple weeks. I misjudged how much water I was going to need today, and definitely a little thirsty there towards the end. But no, start was, not bad. I was probably mid-pack there, made a couple of solid passes, and then, luck played in our favor, and then it was Bryson and I. I'm not sure what happened to him. I inherited the lead, and then I kind of, was running a decent pace. It wasn't a killer pace. John got me in a line that I just missed, and then he ended up tagging the tree. And this was one of those tracks where you just had to, slower was faster, and then then it was just Cole and I the last lap. And man, I couldn't seem to catch a break with the lappers on the last lap there. And then we ended up just deciding, we just had to go those last 2 miles. And I knew I was strong in the fields, and we brought it home.
Well, taking a look at the point standings after round number 4. B. Neal, I don't like the term salvage points, but that's exactly where Bryson Neal was in round number 4. They got the mechanical fixed. He got that back out there on the track, and obviously those points were very valuable because he is still the points leader heading into today, but not by much. Here we go, XC1 Pro Class All Balls Racing Whole Shot Award up for grabs. John Glotta Jr. getting a little squirrely with it, but he hangs on for the whole shot in the early lead. Did you see that? Oh my goodness gracious, the 7-1-2 of John Glotta coming off a fantastic race in round number 4. And the 7-1-2 Yamaha will have the early lead here. Again, coming off a third place finish in round number 4. Getting better that here today. Going to be interesting to watch that one unfold. But again, XC1 off and rolling. Bryson Neal trying to return to those winning ways. Hunter Hart trying to keep the win streak alive. And Austin Abney at the back of the pack of the XC1 got some making up to do. B&R Motorsports Whole shot award up for grabs here for the XC2 Pro-Am class. And rolling out front, that is the 928. James Glotta. How about this? Well, it's a good day to be a Glotta. No doubt about that. So Junkin' James, we call him Jimbo, Jim. Right now we call him the leader of the XC2 class. And that's impressive. That is an impressive way to start the day. Thought for a moment it might be the 926. Eyes were playing tricks on me. Tanner Walker, no stranger to grabbing some whole shots in that XC2 class on that 9-2 crew backed ride. But again, great racing out of the XC2. Steve Harrell, he's been the guy, though, the number 12. That everybody has been trying to stop. He is a perfect 4 for 4 coming into today. So, if it goes like it has, we got to expect him to take a 5th win. But, hey, anything can happen. Hunter Hart's coming off a win. Can he make it 2 in a row? We'll be right back after this. This broadcast of GNCC Racing on MAV TV is brought to you by Specialized. It's you, only faster. And RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready. And welcome back to GNCC here on MAV TV. Well, more than just ATV racing, more than just two-wheel racing. That's right, we have the EMTB GNCC Racing Series, the Electric Mountain Bike Series, Grand National Cross Country. I know, maybe you're new to it, you can't keep up with the acronyms. I've got you covered. EMTB Racing, something for everybody. There's a pro class. There is amateur classes, youth, women's pro class, and I don't mean to be biased, but they also have a big bore class. And what that means is, if you're 200 pounds or heavier, there's a class for you. I love that. That one's perfect for me. Talon Hawk, I can tell you right now, he's not in the big bore class, but the kid is talented, to say the least. Saw some great racing in the EMTB world for these guys. Of course, Charlie Mullins, the defending champ, sailed off into the sunset. He retired, so the door is wide open. We will have a new national champion in EMTB racing this season. But yet to be decided. Going to be an interesting one. Cypress Gorey, a big hitter this season. He took the win. Nick Mackey, good to have him back out there with us racing. And just, again, great racing all around. As we return to the ATV side, Hunter Hart picking up where he left off. He's now gotten around the 712 of John Glotta right there. So Glotta, after the hot start, falls behind Hunter Hart. Man, we have said those two names together for what seems like over a decade. And there is the Bidwell Bullet of Bryson Neal out in front. And how about that? The number 14 of Chris Borich in the fight. There's Adam McGill. So the old Wiley veterans throwing their name in the hat. We're turning the clock back here today in round number 5. Love to see it. Quite frankly, when the guys get into like we can call the twilight of their career, because they're close to my age, okay? So I can say that. Quite frankly, when they have success like this, if you don't like that, I'm going to call you out. You plain just don't like racing. I don't know what else to tell you. There's something about seeing the old Wiley veteran still being able to hang with the young guns. And that's what Adam McGill's doing right there. Adam McGill really rolling right now. And there is Chris Borich behind him. What year is this? I'm loving it. I'm loving it. That is really cool. Some of our fans say, ooh, let me dip out of the way. Here comes the rest of the XC1 class. And just in the nick of time, look like they're hiding from him. I like that. Good racing in the XC1. So Hunter Hart leading it. And he is being challenged, or he was. Got a little bit of a gap now on Sean Glotta Jr. And Glotta's got to be careful. He has got a shadow. And the tow rope's out. B. Neal, the Bidwell Bullet, in the 3 spot. But I got to think, for how much longer? There you go. There is your answer. The Bidwell Bullet moves into the number 2 position around John Glotta. There is Adam McGill. So a little bit of a gap back to the number 4 spot. But the Gator Adam McGill on the move. Gator looking really good this season. He made some changes in the offseason. Some by choice, some not necessarily by choice. Maybe we can talk about that here in just a moment. I'll tell you what, let's do it now. Adam McGill basically, he found out he had Lyme disease in the offseason. A difficult situation. Hunter Hart still our leader, but he had to make some changes to the training regimen, changes to the diet. B. Neal in the second place spot, inching closer toward Hunter Hart right now, and there is Glotta in third. But nonetheless, I think it kind of revitalized Adam McGill's career, and he's riding very well. He's been very competitive this season, and for McGill, the podium has eluded him so far. But, round one, we'll call it a mulligan for him. I think it was a 9th place finish. He had some 4s, some 5s this season, but he's knocking on the door of a podium finish. And I'm just going to say it right now. Before this season's up, I think Adam McGill gets him a podium. But right now, all focus on Hunter Hart and B. Neal, the battle out front. Hart trying to keep it going. Well, as I mentioned prior to the last break, or after the last break, I should say, GNCC, more than just ATV and dirt bike racing. We have e-bikes. Oh, yeah, at Camp Coker, we got something else. We got a fishing tournament. And I'm telling you right now, it is... it's a heated competition. I guess we'll put it that way. Brown's RV Superstore able to put their name on this as the sponsor for the fishing tournament, and overall it was about having fun. But I mean, let's be real, there's competition out there, just like there's competition in this. This is not fishing, this is the Stasic race, and it is complete and total mayhem. It's a fun race they do on Saturday nights for the young rippers, the future of GNCC, if you will. Again, these little kiddos, they get to throw their leg over the Stasics and go out there, have the time of their little meltdown there in the background. But nonetheless, they have the time of their lives, and I think the parents have as much fun as anybody else. There's another man having the time of his life. That is Bryson Neal out in front. Hunter Hart falls back to the number 2 spot. So during the commercial break, B. Neal able to get around Hunter Hart. John Glotta remains in the number 3 spot. Got that water bottle hanging from his mouth, getting a little rehydration, and there is the Gator, Adam McGill, that 521 Honda, back there in the, he's in the hunt, put it that way. I mean, he's not too far off the pace of that lead pack. Cole Richardson kind of having a bit of a rough day. He's coming off, 2 podiums in a row. Well, he's podiumed every race this season, I should say. A 2nd or a 3rd. It's the win that has eluded him. Today, might be that podium that eludes him. B. Neal now putting a gap on Hunter Hart. Hart in that number 2 spot. This is a location Hart really, really likes, Camp Coker. You got to think, again, he's a New York guy, but loves training. He's a Florida resident, okay? He's basically a Florida resident at this point. How about this? John Glotta now getting up on that rear grab bar of Hunter Hart, looking very good right there. And the Bidwell Bullet, Bryson Neal, now getting into a little bit of lap traffic. If you're new to GNCC, added elements. If you think moto, like your Supercross, your Pro Moto Outdoor, you're out there with your Pro class. Now, GNCC a little different. You're out there with the Pro class. You're there with the Pro Am class. And then you're out there with some A riders and some B riders as well. Now, everybody's racing their own race per class. It's all scored on adjusted time, depending on what class you're in. So what that does, as the 2-hour race wears on, you get into lap traffic, because your pro guys, it is such a huge step up in talent by the time you get to that pro level, that as the race wears on, they get into quite a bit of lap traffic. So not necessarily guys that they are racing against in their class, but guys that are having their own race in the amateur ranks. So just a unique added element that makes GNCC so special and so different really from anything else. But how about it? Bryson Neal, I won't say needs the win today. It's one of those situations. Right now, if you look at the points, 100, Bryson Neal, 97, Hart. It's just, hey, I got to finish in front of the other guy, and B. Neal is doing that right now. We'll be right back. This broadcast of GNCC Racing on MAV TV is brought to you by Specialized. It's you, only faster. And RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready. Well, here we go, getting down to the wire, and Bryson Neal is your leader. Hunter Hart sitting there in the number 2 spot. Both riders want to win. Both riders need a win. You heard us before the commercial break. It is a situation where they're close enough as far as the point standing is concerned that really their idea is, okay, if I don't get a win, I just got to make sure I finish in front of the other guy. Well, as the scenario presents itself, one guy's in first, one guy's in second. So we're going for a win. The chips are on the table. Let's let it all hang out. That's exactly what B. Neal's doing right now from the Yamaha Racing Sky Cam. Absolutely rolling here at the Camp Coker Bullet, but we had some radio chatter. Sounds like Bryson Neal may be facing a penalty. So he takes a checkered flag momentarily, but I guess we're going to have to stay tuned and see how this one shakes down. And there is Miss Carrie Jo Russell having a conversation with Bryson Neal. So this does not look good. He's going to head out. That's Jared Bolton, our trail boss. He's going to head out with Jared Bolton.
Oh, I don't even know, man. Yeah, I just did my thing. Bike ran great all day. I rode great. You know, after last race, having a bad race, you know, having a problem with my front end and not really scoring any points. You know, I was really looking to come out here today and try to get out and do what I did, you know, try to get out front and get away and be able to ride my own race and try to bring home a clean win. And I guess on the first lap, whenever I passed Galata, there was the inside line, and there's already tracks through it. And I went through it, and almost something grabbed me and almost ripped me. And I only did it one lap, and I guess it was 3 feet over or something like that, over the track penalty for 25 feet, and it was 3 feet over. And it sucks because I wish I would have known, because if they would have stopped me or someone would have came forward and just held me for 30 seconds or a minute, whatever, I would have been way more happy with that. But, you know, it sucks. You know, we work really hard for this stuff, and, you know, the lap times, they don't lie, and it's hard to take. It's hard to take. And the last lap, my clutch cable, something happened with it, and I had no free play. I had no feeling in my clutch at all, so that was already had me on pins and needles. And getting through that 5.5 to the 8 mile marker, that twisty, tight, man, I was on pins and needles. I was hoping I wouldn't catch somebody in a bad position where they was stuck in the middle of the track or something, but just bummed. You know, my Phoenix Racing ATV Yamaha CST tires, Hauser A-arms, Zoka shocks, DWT wheels, this DAS engine, everything was clicking great today. I'm really happy with my team, but this one hurts. It hurts for sure.
Well, pretty extensive interview there with Bryson Neal, and when we talk about a heartbreaker, you know, I'll just say it. I don't think anything was done maliciously on purpose necessarily, but just a tough break. I mean, that's racing, though. Things happen. And, again, Hunter Hart will be the guy that comes in and capitalizes off of that. And how about it for John Galata? Having a great day as well. Going to finish now in the 2 spot. So there is Hunter Hart. He will take a win today. So Hunter Hart, right place, right time.
Shoo-wee. Man, it was rough, to say the least. Pumped I led, man, maybe lap and a half today, you know. Great start. And then from there, we just kind of, Junior hit a mud hole, bike cut out. I ended up getting him in a corner there. And then I just ran my own race. You know, I led a good bit. Bryson was all over me. I knew I just had to make this thing wide, and we were doing a great job of it. I just missed a little inside corner. He got me. And then from there, I just tried to hang tough as long as I could. And we were doing solid. And then, you know, just ended up on the third lap. There was just this real tight section, ended up tagging a tree. Actually didn't even tag a tree, just kind of bike popped out of the ruts. Had to get off, pull it over. Junior caught me, and then him and I were going good, and ended up just unfortunately, you know, it was a real tight section. Lapper ended up hitting a tree, and then we were just stuck there. And yeah, it was all in all a good day. Excited on the way I rode, and yeah, we're here, and I feel okay. Hands are a little beat up, but all in all, excited for the way I did. Best finish to date here, so I'll take it.
Well, there you go. There's your top 10 after the penalty. For Bryson Neal, he'll take a third place on the day. Hart will take first and Glotta second.
Was able to pull the whole shot. That felt great. I haven't ripped a whole shot here since like 2017. And then, I was just trying to ride smart and not make any mistakes. First lap, I went and looked at this mud hole before the race, and it had way more water in it when we came through the first lap. And this thing sucked in some water, and I was spitting and sputtering for a mile or two. And Hunter got around me, and I was trying to keep Bryson behind me, and then finally it cleared up. And I was trying to pull a little bit of a gap. I think Bryson might have had some mistake or something happen the first lap. We got a little bit ahead of him. And then, just tried to ride smart the whole race. It was brutal. 5 laps on this track was not fun. It was very brutal. But we were able to hold on to it for the top 3.
Well, we take a look at the Specialized race recap, and it was John Glotta. Man, I thought he was coming off of that Yamaha right there. Takes a little kicker from one of his fellow XC1 pros, but boy, hats off to John Glotta. What a save. Might have been one of the best saves of the year as far as the start line is concerned. Season's young, though. We got a lot of racing left. Great racing throughout. Unfortunately, the penalty for Bryson Neal, but we did see some great battling between Hunter Hart, John Glotta Jr., and the Bidwell Bullet, Bryson Neal. And I got to say, B. Neal dropping 2 in a row under circumstances, I won't say out of his control. He wrenches on his own machine, and if he cut the track, he cut the track. At the end of the day, that's on him, and I think he knows that, albeit he's going to be frustrated. He's going to be upset. Bryson Neal is a professional, though. I guarantee you, he says the right things, and he does the right things, and he's going to come back out swinging. I would be terrified of Bryson Neal moving forward. If we're being completely honest, B. Neal is going to be a scary, scary man. And if you're Hunter Hart, these are your wins. You got to be in the right place at the right time. He was there to capitalize, so we can't take anything away from him. Again, there's another look, the drama that unfolded. But nonetheless, Hunter Hart takes the win at the Camp Coker Bullet. Glotta second. B. Neal going to be looking for some redemption, takes third. That's going to do it for us here. I'm Mikey Waynes. We'll see you at the races.